The Supernanny is more like a substitute mommy. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Self-proclaimed Supernanny, Jo Frost has recently released a book in which she explains how to keep toddlers from running and ruining the lives of parents and basic instructional advice about how to avoid complete meltdowns in public. Advising on how to discipline children when you don't have children at all is sort of like me giving my teen son a few pointers on how to dress cool. Self-proclaimed Supernanny, Jo Frost has recently released a book in which she explains how to keep toddlers from running and ruining the lives of parents and basic instructional advice about how to avoid complete meltdowns in public. There's not yours, apparently. She comes at the angle of disciplining children seemingly better and smarter than any parent. After all, what do parents know? Besides our own children since the day they were born? I've always found her advice, while theoretically sound, is like getting advice from that crabby older lady in the grocery store who shakes her head at your squirming and yelling toddler. Advising on how to discipline children when they aren't your own, or when you don't have children at all, is sort of like me giving my teen son a few pointers on how to dress cool. To the best of my recollection, I've never been a teen boy, or dressed cool, for that matter. Think about the substitute teacher that comes into a normally unruly classroom. Simply by not bringing any baggage to the situation, he or she is more easily able to establish new rules which the children are more likely to follow. And they're just as likely to fall back into their own routines with their regular teacher once the sub is gone. As parents, we have great, huge piles of baggage with our children. Try as we might, we can't tag it unclaimed and send it back. We were there from the beginning, and we inherently know that we will be there in the end being hopefully when we pack them off to live their own lives. And so our discipline and our methods are somewhat tainted by the background knowledge of how many times they have previously struck their brother, the number and breadth of ways their sister has insulted them, and the uneasy feeling about the upcoming vacation where we're running, in essence, a family business, or, of course, the business of being a family. And if you've worked in a corporation who has brought in an outside consultant to fix things, you know that while most of the advice and business plans that they present is fantastic in theory, how can it not be when it involves so many super graphs and charts? The odds of effectively implementing these changes and making a real difference in the running of the business is slim to none. Likewise, when a supernanny steps into an out-of-control household, her single biggest weapon in fighting against toddler meltdowns is that she is simply not the toddler's parent. This is something, as parents, that we can never replicate without being charged with child abandonment at the time of birth. What we can do, of course, is to make sure that our children know who is in charge, as I wrote about in my latest book, I Am So the Boss of You. Because there is no doubt that Supernanny is in charge, and is deploying an effective, if not attainable, model of a perfectly run autocratic household. Her advice is really for other nannies, caregivers of children, or know-it-all unrelated grandmas in stores, not parents. Not that I wouldn't hire her to be a substitute mom for me, every once in a while. Kathy Buckworth is the author of I Am So the Boss of You, an 8-step guide to giving your family the business, recently optioned by Warner Brothers Television. Saudi Arabia will be one of the countries reportedly set to be included in a new American cable TV series fronted by Jo Frost, the British star behind the successful Supernanny TV series. Jo Frost, Nanny on Tour, will be produced by the American network Up TV and will see the 45-year-old Londoner travel to a number of countries to help families faced with child-rearing challenges. As part of the show, Frost will visit countries around the world, including non-English-speaking countries such as the Netherlands and Saudi Arabia, the Daily Mail reported. I am so passionate about helping families and giving them what they need, and I cannot wait to get started country by country, Frost was quoted as saying. A source added, Frost has an incredible eye for a good story and a real international appeal. Now that this U.S. deal has been struck, the show will go around the world as networks have never seen child interactions like this. Practical step-by-step advice from Supernanny Jo Frost on how to deal with your child throwing tantrums, why they start, and how to stop them. Watching your child blossom from a baby into his own little person is an amazing time for every proud parent, explains TV parenting expert and Supernanny Jo Frost enthusiastically. It's when their little character traits become very present. But she then leans in. As your little one toddles towards the terrible twos, parents can start to feel nervous. All of a sudden, your little cherub has a voice, a personality, and a temper, and parents will be anxious. But being anxious allows us to become more diligent about what skills we need to enjoy the toddler years. Raising a toddler requires a whole new set of parenting skills. It's essential to be patient and consistent. There's so much a parent needs to teach and learn, but it's an incredibly fun stage of your child's development, she says. A screaming and unreasonable toddler can leave even the most chilled-out parent feeling helpless and embarrassed. But it's important to remember that tantrums are one of your tot's ways of expressing himself, whether he's tired, angry, or frustrated. And as long as these emotions don't hurt someone, parents should allow their tot to have them, says Joe. Toddlers live in their own little bubble, so when they're not getting their own way, it's very easy for a parent to want to control the emotion, she says. Parents should respond but not react, says Joe. Ignore his behavior and don't try and reason with him, as he won't understand. You simply have to wait until the tantrum two-letter word can turn even the simplest of tasks into a battle of wills that's bound to frustrate even the most patient parent. Children engage in power play as toddlers. They're trying to figure out who's in control, you or them, says Joe. It's easy to give in for the sake of a bit of peace and quiet, but in the long run you're making life harder on you and your tot. The good news is that once you win, the issue generally goes away, adds Joe. There's a difference between telling your child and asking him, says Joe. Instead of asking your little one, do you want to put your shoes on and we'll go to the park? Rephrase it so you're gently telling him by saying, put your shoes on because we're going to the park. Keep your tone of voice conversational. It's when you're disciplining your tot that you need to firm up your voice, advises Joe. As soon as your tot finds his feet, he'll want to walk and run everywhere, including places you don't want him to go. When I'm looking at children who run off, it's normally the same parents who have problems with their child listening to them, says Joe. In the toddler years, it's important to have a balance of allowing him to walk and being in the buggy, says Joe. The roaming technique teaches your toddler how to remain safe and stay near you while giving him space to roam, says Joe. Tell your little one he can hop out of the pushchair, but when you say stop and hold up your hand, he needs to stop wherever he is. As soon as he tests that boundary, get him to hold on to the stroller for a few minutes, which gives him the boundary again. He'll very quickly get it if he wants the freedom of no hands, Joe says. You might cringe as your little one snatches a toy out of another tot's hand, but rest assured that learning to share will develop over time. There's an expectation that your toddler will just do as you say the first time, and everything will be okay. So that's why repetition is one of the essential tools that are necessary in the toddler years, says Joe. Encourage your tot to share at every single opportunity and lead by example, too. A trip to the library is a good way to teach your tot that the books and toys are for everybody to use, suggests Joe. And playdates are important for helping your little one to understand that other children will come to his house and play with his toys, so he needs to share them. Enjoying the friendships and the fun that comes from that allows your child to learn the lesson, she adds. Some parents don't tell a toddler about a new arrival until the last minute, while others choose to involve the child from the get-go, and I think that's really a personal choice, says Joe. It's important to keep your toddler's routine the same and teach him valuable life skills during your pregnancy, so you're not dealing with 2 babies in 9 months' time. It's important for your tot to learn how to get dressed and be more self-sufficient so he can be proud of his independence. If you don't, your toddler can become very jealous because all of a sudden he's expected to learn these life skills overnight, warns Joe. Allow your toddler to give suggestions on what the baby should wear or what lullaby you should sing. Getting your child involved in what you do with the new baby is important because it brings all of you together. If he doesn't want to be involved, then let go of it and don't expect him to be skipping over to put the nappy into the bin, says Joe. It may take a while, but slowly your tot will adjust to the new